Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Patholkis, and it's time for another Sunday edition of Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end over here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you don't want to be notified when I come on live, you can hit that bell down below and YouTube will just not notify you when I come on live because that's what they are. But if you do want to know when I'm going to come on live or if I'm going to be late like this, you can go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I put up there. I change it every week. I'm usually on time. The weekends a little different, but yeah. And also have all the links to my social media on there and all the links to my pages as well on there. All right. So let's get to the news, shall we? I'm on rollers here. That's why I'm kind of rolling around and, you know. So, Peacemaker. Everyone watched Peacemaker, right? You guys saw the season finale on Thursday? Yeah, and all that. I covered it. So, well, Peacemaker got a second season over at HBO Max. Yeah. James Gunn has said that HBO Max has greenlit a second season. Big surprise on that one, considering it's the most streamed HBO Max series right now, which is kind of surprising, but still, yes, it is the most stream. Oh my God, Stanley, that's a bad joke. You just start that off like out from the box, huh? Wow, I see those Apple Crow classes are really not paying off. Hi, Stanley. Oi. Um, yeah, so I'm looking forward to more Peacemaker. Peacemaker was fun, was a lot of fun. I'm also interested to see what the second series is from Suicide Squad that James Gunn's going to do. He says a much different tone than Peacemaker is going to be. So I'm wondering if this is going to be more serious in tone or if he's just fucking with us and we're going to get some more. Uh, I'm still saying it's going to be Weasel. That is going to be the the second spinoff, if you will, from Suicide Squad. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm always looking forward to more of that. It was a lot of fun. It really was. It was completely unexpected. I was even saying I don't know what when it was first announced. I was like, really, they're going to do that? And yeah, I had my misgivings about it too, and I was wrong. So there, I said it. Stranger Things season 4 is getting a 9 episode series or episode season, excuse me, but that's going to be split in half. So they're going to show the first, I think, 4 or 5 episodes, like one part of the year, and then, and by the way, it premieres on May 27th. So on May 27th, they're going to show those first like 4 or 5 episodes, and then the second half is going to premiere I think a couple months later down the line is what's going to happen there. So they're going to split that season 4 in half. And it's also been announced that season 5 is going to be the final season of Stranger Things. So we do have an ending for Stranger Things, which is season 5. Yeah. Stanley says, saw your Vox Machina review. You're such a normie when it comes to fantasy. You don't even know the archetypes. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, that's what happens, man. I'm more comic and sci-fi than I am fantasy. So, we all have our own little niches out there, Stanley. You know, that's why you like Agents of Shield and I don't. So, um, September 2nd. Oh, by the way, going back to Stranger Things. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, the kids are getting older. They can't do this forever, of course, and so it's good to have an end date to it, which it looks like it's going to be. Their end date is probably going to go right into the 90s. So, I mean, this has pretty much been all 80s nostalgia, if you will, for Stranger Things, and you go straight into the 90s, and that's how you end it. So, I mean, That should be a good run right there at the end of season 5. So I'm happy with that. Um, September 2nd, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, which is a long title. The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. It actually kind of rhymes too. That's coming to Amazon. So I don't know if they're going to be doing weekly or if they're going to. My guess is they're going to do weekly because they paid $1 billion for this property, and I don't think they're just going to release it all at once. I mean, they're going to have to release it in installments. They're most likely going to do the first 3 episode drop, and then they're going to release it once a week thereafter, kind of like what they've been doing. Yeah, yeah, and so if the trailer dropped, by the way, it's over on my Facebook page there. Um, it's also on YouTube as well. You can take a look at the trailer up, that's up there. And it's supposed to be the creation of the rings. And if you go through and you watch that trailer and they're talking about how many rings go to what band of tribes, the hobbits don't get any rings whatsoever. So they kind of got screwed out of the whole ring situation. And I don't know if that was fair of whoever made the rings, but sure, why not? Yeah. That title doesn't ring of power. Oh, Stanley, come on. These are bad jokes. Bad, bad jokes. Yeah. There were no hobbits then? Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So, what, they're kind of like a new species or something? Or, yeah. Sorry, I never got into Lord of the Rings. I just didn't. I know there were a lot of people in high school when I was going through that were reading it and loved it and everything. I was not one of those people. I just could not get into it. And I'm not going to say why I didn't get into it because then it pisses people off and blah, 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 blah. So I just didn't like it. There you go. So it was not for me. A live action BioShock movie is in the works for Netflix. Okay. If those of you who remember that video game from the early 2000s, BioShock is back. Oh, they did make kind of a resurgence about, what was it, 10 years ago, somewhere around there, 8 years ago. I think I remember when I was down in San Diego when I first moved to San Diego. They had another video game or something like that. But anyway, they are going to have a movie in Netflix there, so it's in the works right now for Netflix, and yeah, there you go. Could be interesting. I don't know. Usually, most video game movies suck. I have to admit. I don't think there's been a really good video game movie. I mean, Sonic was pretty good. It was decent, but was it really a video game movie? I don't know. A capitalism bad movie. Wow, how innovative is what Stanley says. Yeah. Well, what do you want? So, meh. The Kelvin verse Star Trek, the one with Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto and all those guys, is coming back for a fourth movie with the WandaVision showrunner directing it. And I can never remember the dude's name. I just can't because it escapes me, unfortunately. And I'm wondering how they're going to do it. I mean, Anton Yeltsin is dead, who played Chekhov. I'm wondering if they're just going to write him out or what's going to happen there. But that's gonna suck, really. And I'm looking at who this guy is, and I'm not seeing his name anywhere for some reason. So yeah, but anyway. Oh, there we go. Matt Shockman. Yeah, Matt Shockman is his name. He's going to be directing it from a screenplay by Josh Friedman, who did Avatar 2, and Cameron Squires, who did WandaVision, based on an earlier draft by Lindsay Beer and Geneva Robertson Duarte, who wrote Captain Marvel. Ugh. So you know it's going to be good. Yeah. Stanley says, by the way, I recommend Severance, the Apple TV Plus show. Okay. Yeah, I've heard about it. I know it's the Ben Stiller show that he did Severance for Apple TV Plus. I'm still not getting Apple TV Plus. They just do not have enough content for me to justify subscribing to anything there. So if they make it available on other platforms, sure, I might watch it. But since they're not doing that, I have no desire to put any money into Apple's pockets. So Stanley says, I thought that movie was dead because the actors were too expensive. Well, it's back again. So, and Paramount Plus, obviously, or Paramount has money because now they're all together now. CBS, Viacom, and Paramount have mended their ways, and they are now known as Paramount. As a matter of fact, CBS Viacom is changing their name from CBS Viacom to Paramount. That's how much they are back together again. So it all came about with the whole, CBS, whatever their streaming service was called before they changed it over to Paramount Plus. That's when this all settled, when all the dust settled there. And they released supposedly a Star Trek universe timeline now, and they do actually show the divergence of the Kelvin verse from the original timeline. So yeah, they're yeah, which is just stupid. Yeah, well, CBS isn't known overseas either. So it's known here in the States, but it's not known overseas. So Paramount is a much more well-known name. I mean, come on, Paramount was the company that released the whole Indiana Jones movies, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, all 4 movies. Yeah. Where is STD on that timeline? I have no idea. I just know that it diverges, for the it's out there someplace, Stanley. I just read that they had done it and I hadn't bothered looking at it because I really didn't care. I hate to say it, but Star Trek is pretty much dead to me. It's one of those franchises that is so fucked right now that I don't even bother with it anymore because it's garbage. It really is. It's garbage science fiction, which never used to be the case. I mean, that was supposed to be the pinnacle of science fiction at one point, and now it's just garbage science fiction as far, yeah. Um, yeah, I don't hate watch anything, Stanley. I really don't. I mean, there's part of me that wants to complete something, hence Agents of Shield, the reason why I finished all of that. Um, I just wanted to. I figured I went more than halfway through the what seasons they had, so I might as well just finish it off. Supernatural, I haven't done that because Supernatural, for some reason, for me, ended at a certain point, and I was like, I'm done. Even though I think I ended like 5 seasons earlier than what it actually ended at. So, yeah, it does happen. But let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah. So there was a new trailer for The Boys Diabolical. That is the animated anthology series that has a shit ton of voice actors in it. And it comes out on March 4th on Amazon. Still no word as to what the release schedule on that is, if they're going to release once a week or if they're going to release different, if they're going to release in blocks, kind of like they did with Vox Machina, or they're going to release it all at once. We don't know. But it looks like a lot of fun. I mean, the animation style, I dig. It's like Roger Rabbit kind of animation style, which I'm cool with. Um, and also the voice acting too. So Silver says Trek written by people who know nothing about its history, sadly. Yeah, I know. Well, that's what happened when they stopped hiring sci-fi writers for Trek and started bringing in just these Hollywood, screenwriters who don't really give a shit about sci-fi and are just there to, let's throw in some technobabble. That is where the word technobabble came from, was from Star Trek: The Next Generation, is because they were just throwing in some nonsensical words to make it sound sci-fi. And high Silver, by the way, yes. Yeah. Yeah, but they started bringing in some big idiots too to write those things, and yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I've told this story before. So one of my favorite shows that only lasted a season, and I want to say it was from the 80s. Parker Stevenson was in it. He starred in it, and those of you who are older will know, the old Hardy Boys series with Parker Stevenson and Sean Cassidy. So that's where he started off. So he starred in it, and I want to say it was called Probe was the name of the show. Only lasted one season. Isaac Asimov was involved in it, and it was about this guy who would go out and solve these unsolvable crimes, and they were all rooted in science, and they all had science backgrounds. Like, one of them was, their first episode was, there was a body that was found in the park, frozen. Well, not frozen, but the internal temperature of the body was 20 degrees colder than the surrounding environment, and they had to figure out why that was. And it turned out, of course, the body was the person was killed in cryogenics, of course, in liquid nitrogen, allowed to thaw, and then someone brought the body out to the park, but the internal temperature still had not thawed out enough yet. So yeah, it was just kind of, things like that, which was kind of a cool premise. I just don't know if the writers could have kept up with that for more than a season, but no one watched it, of course, and sadly, and they killed that episode, or that series. Stanley says, I'm still sad about the Picard show. I would have liked to see Q again. Well, Q's coming out this season, Stanley. So you can always go and watch it. Silver says, I'm still waiting to see the real Picard show up. Shh, spoilers. No, I don't care. Um, yeah, Picard was horribly, horribly bad. I mean, I know I've used this anthology before, this analogy before, I should say, not anthology. It feels like it's written by a 5-year-old. And then, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and it just kind of was some stupid shit that happens that is nonsensical that they try and tie together. And well, that's J.J. Abrams writing for you. So I mean, that's Bad Robot Productions. Is you have these really, just really stupid things that come about, and it's stream of consciousness. It's not planning ahead, is really what it is. It's writing your first draft and then just going with it. So yes, I agree with you, Stanley. It is Kurtzman. Yes. Silver says, once again, written by young idiots who think they know everything and in reality know nothing. Yes. Yeah. Well, isn't that the true state of knowledge? Sorry, I always go back to Bill and Ted. Socrates, whose philosophy was the only true knowledge is that you know nothing. That's us, dude. Oh, Bill and Ted. Yeah. So yeah, so we got the new trailer for The Boys Diabolical, which looks really great. That comes out on March 4th. I'm looking forward to it. It looks like a lot of fun. Derek Robertson, of course, who's co-creator of The Boys, is jazzed about it as well, because I think he's got something to do with one of the animation styles. I think he designed some of the oh, I know what it was. There's actually a Garth Ennis written segment in there, and I believe they used the comic book, drawings that Derek did for the comic, for the animation, is how they did the animation. So that's what he was jazzed about. Yeah. So that's kinda what I'm looking forward to seeing that. Um, I haven't read the comic in God knows how long. When it first came out, really. So yeah. This is kind of interesting. So Walter Goggins, who of course is just like in everything at the moment, has been cast as a ghoul in the Jonathan Nolan Lisa Joy production of the Fallout series for Amazon. So that sounds interesting, but unfortunately, again, the writer for Captain Marvel is writing for this as well. So my hope got up because Walter Goggins and Jonathan Nolan, Lisa Joy, and then the writer for Captain Marvel, and my expectation goes way down all of a sudden. So her writing is just atrocious. I mean, yeah, she's written for other stuff. I remember reading her resume, and I was just like, "Wow, you've written some really bad things." So, yeah. Stanley says the boys show has little to do with the comic, but I like it. No, it's a take on the comic, Stanley. It's a take on the comic, and they're leading slowly to the comic the way the comic came about. That's what we're getting this season. If you watch the trailers, anyway. And there's also been some promotional material too that they've been throwing in. So they created this new the VOT channel. And so it's kinda like Fox News in a way, the way they've been doing it, and it's been really fucking funny, and so we know it's going the way of the comic now. Yeah. Stanley says, "Fallout series? Yeah, surely another video game hit show." Well, I mean, like I said, Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy being involved in it, my expectations were up. Walter Goggins being cast in it, my expectations go up even a little bit more, especially when they say he's gonna be playing a ghoul. And so it goes up as a main villain. So I was like, if Walter Goggins is playing a main villain in the series, my expectations are up here. But then when I heard the writer for Captain Marvel was in it, yeah, it drops down. Well, you can't see where the floor is here, but that's pretty much where my expectations went for that one. Hopefully, it's in a group like a writers' room kind of thing. So there's very little input involved from that person, and they're not like one of the main writers. So anyway. And speaking of writers who had some really questionable material early on in their career, George R. R. Martin's Wild Cards is being made into the Wild Cards books. They're being turned into a Marvel Comics series. Um, I remember reading the first two Wild Cards novels when they first came out. Uh, I just found them in the sci-fi section of my local bookstore at the one time, and they're really bad. I mean, just horribly, horribly bad. Um, yeah, and hopefully they're gonna I don't know, they're probably gonna clean them up for Marvel Comics, but I don't know. It wasn't I know George R. Martin loves that series and really wanted to get that stuff off the ground, he more so than Game of Thrones, but I wasn't digging that series. It wasn't good. Stanley says the history of video game shows is bad. Look at the Uncharted movie. Yeah, the Uncharted movie is tanking right now. They were trying to make it sound all rosy and stuff like that. I was looking at Hollywood Reporter this morning, and they're going, "Oh, it's got a 45 to 55 million dollar opening," and then Deadline's going, "Nope, this thing is tanking. It's only got $25 million opening weekend." And I think they spent $150 million on this movie, somewhere around there. Probably more because they, dragged their heels on casting. Tom Holland, I think, was the first one cast, like, what was it, 5 years ago or something like that? I know I'm exaggerating. It was, like, 3 years ago. Um, but yeah. And then again, it's got Mark Wahlberg in it, which I'm sure hurt a lot of the sales as well. I'm not gonna go and see it, quite frankly. So I'm finding there's very few and far in between movies now that I'm willing to go into the theater to go and watch. Spider-Man No Way Home, yes, I went and saw that twice in the theater. Why? Because it was fucking fun, it was good. Um, The Eternals, I could have waited for that shit to come out on Disney Plus. The King's Man, which I just saw last night, 2.5 hours long. I'm glad I waited for that one, to come out on HBO Max. So, other than that, yeah. So it's on HBO Max and it's also on Hulu, which I thought was funny. Yeah. Since I haven't read any of the older George R. R. Martin stuff, but the Night Flyer series was bad. Yep. And it was an even worse TV show. It's the only reason why it lasted one season. A Quiet Place 3 is in the works at Paramount for a 2025 release for those of you out there playing at home. Uh, okay. I never saw the second one, quite honestly. Was the second one any good? The first one was okay. I mean, it wasn't the all out, oh my God, that everyone was saying it was. It was interesting, but it wasn't like, knock my socks off kind of great. So, yeah. Oh, you got to stay quiet throughout the entire thing. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Silver, how they're dragging this shit out. That's why I said I skipped the second one because I was like, nah, you kind of got everything out of the way in the first one. As far as I'm concerned, it was a one and done. You didn't need to do anything more than that. Oh, you meant the TV show, Stanley. You never read Night Flyers. Yeah. Yeah. You didn't miss anything. Let's just say. Yeah. Well, you find the premise of armored alien creatures that hunt by sound to be rather stupid. Yeah. Well, go figure. It's almost as, ludicrous as an alien invasion by these giant alien ships that shoot pegs at battleships. And what did I think of the Nope trailer? Silver, I didn't watch it. I don't know why, but yeah, I'm just not a fan of his work, quite honestly. I mean, the thing is, I don't. It's not that I don't like it. It's I'm indifferent to it. I'm very indifferent to it. It's just kind of one of those kind of thing. So, yes, I never watched it. I think I watched the teaser when it first came out like months ago, and then I never bothered with the actual trailer. Yeah. So no, I haven't seen it. And also I don't do reaction videos either because my reactions are usually kind of mute anyway. And also I just find reaction videos to be ridiculously stupid. So Silver says the interesting premise, but judging by his past stuff, it all amounts to nothing. Sadly, yeah, I think that's what it is for me too. Is it just doesn't? It brings up a issue and then has no resolution to it. Is what it is, and yeah, it's kind of like, oh, okay, that's great, but you just kind of left it there. Yeah. eh. So something I am interested in, Fox is developing an animated series based on the old Bloom County comic strip. And by the way, the Bloom County comic strip is still actually being produced. Berkeley Breathed is the name of the guy who breathed. I never remember how to pronounce his last name correctly. So he is actually doing he's still doing the strips on Facebook and on his own site. They're fucking funny as hell. But yeah, he has an animated series in the work with Fox. Steve Dallas, the lawyer, is going to be like this Homer Simpson esque kind of character, and of course, Bill the Cat's in there, Opus the Penguin. Um, Pretty much everybody who's in the Bloom County strip is going to be there, and I'm looking forward to that one. That actually looks like it's gonna be a lot of fucking fun. So, do I want a movie to solve racism? No, I don't. Well, it'd be nice if there was a movie that could solve racism. That would be awesome. But the way it just kind of brought up that particular problem and then just kind of left it and just went, "Nah." Yeah. It was just a weird kind of limbo esque ending. His movies have a weird limbo esque ending. That's what I'm saying, Stanley. There is no end. It's an ending without an ending. And there are movies like that. So, um, here's something that's kind of weird, but could also be interesting depending on what comic they go for. A Wonder Twins movie is in the works over at HBO Max. That's right. Zan and Jaina, form of an eagle, form of a bucket of water, are getting their own movie at HBO Max. Now, before you start really laughing and you think about the old 70s Super Friends cartoon that this came from, if you go and take a look at the comic book series from, I want to say it's like a couple years ago, about 5 years ago, somewhere around there in DC Comics, if they follow that comic, that's actually a really good Zan and Jaina series where they are two alien teens that are brought to Earth uh, by their father to kind of learn human ways and all that stuff, and they're entrusted to the Justice League to kind of show them around, show them the ropes of what it is to be a hero, kind of thing. And they're going to college and all this stuff, and they're fucking up in different ways. And it's actually a good comic. They did a really good job on that comic. And if they follow that, then I can see that being a good movie. But if they do something else, maybe not. Ah, Ed Brewer, hey, how's it going, man? Um, yeah, my favorite Zan and Jaina moment is from Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, the Adult Swim series, where they bring Zan to to the stand, and I forget which episode it was, but the reason why he wasn't on duty at the Hall of Justice was because he was Wonder Woman's bathwater for the evening, because they were asking him where he was that evening, and you see him as purple water, you see her leg, and it's just wrong, but at the same time really funny. So yeah, and also just brings up a whole bunch of questionable stuff too. So yeah. Yeah. And he said, I believe it when he's flashing back to where he was that evening, he says, "Form of a giant washcloth." It's it's wrong, by the way, but it is funny. The Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law animated series was just awesome with Gary Cole as the voice of Harvey. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, the new series, his daughter, uh, um, Bird Woman, I think is what it is, or Bird Girl. Bird Girl is what they're calling her. Is really shitty. I mean, I tried watching it and I fell asleep during I've been midway through the first episode, which they're only like 12 minutes long. 70s is where the Zan and Jaina Actually, they updated their look a little bit too. Not a lot, but enough in the comic, and that should be fun. Especially like I said, if they follow the current comic or the I should say the most recent comic. And the last thing I have for you is Howard the Duck. Yes, the Howard the Duck is supposedly set to appear in the new She-Hulk series, which would make sense because she's a lawyer and he's a private investigator. And if he's bringing her some clients or something like that, I could see that happening. And I'm fucking looking forward to that, quite honestly. I want to see Howard the Duck meet She-Hulk and, working for her or bringing her cases and stuff like that. That would be really good. And especially since it's supposed to be a comedy, it works for Howard the Duck as well because he's a comedic character. Yeah. They finally ironed out all the rights with Disney and everything, on that because, Disney owns Marvel. And the whole reason why Howard the Duck So the whole reason why Howard the Duck wears pants or was wearing pants in the comics was because Disney sued Marvel saying that it looks too much like Howard the Duck or like Donald Duck. And then they just put a pair of pants on him. That's what they did. Um, do I have it here? I Oh yeah, I do. I have the essential Howard the Duck down here, which is very fucking surreal. The 70s version of Howard the Duck, the original one, it's a real surreal book. You know what I mean? Yes, she is going to be breaking the fourth wall, a la Deadpool. She was actually doing it before Deadpool was. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hey, word 789. You're gonna keep it 700, or is that 100? When are we gonna get the new Harley Quinn season? Your guess is as good as mine, man. Everyone keeps asking them because the Harley Quinn account on Twitter has come back to being live again. And every time they chime in with something, everyone's like, "Ha ha ha! When season three?" And it's the same thing with Umbrella Academy. Umbrella Academy just posted on Twitter, or Netflix posted on Twitter, a character sheet for season three because we have the Sparrow Academy coming as well, and everyone's like, "Hey, that's great, but when season three? When are we getting a trailer? All that kind of stuff." Yeah. Yeah, Word 789. All it was a teaser trailer anyway. I mean, we haven't seen a real trailer for that yet. So I did see a still from is it Entertainment Weekly? Yeah, Entertainment Weekly for blah, 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 the Sandman series. So I saw some stills from that and it actually looks really decent. I mean, the quality of it and everything. I'm enjoying the production value of it and hopefully we get a trailer soon for Sandman. That is the Sandman live action series that Neil Gaiman has been working on, and it looks decent. You know, so we'll see what happens there. Oh, what else we got? So that's all I got for news. Um, yeah, that's all I have for news. So I've been watching on Netflix the Korean series All of Us Are Dead, the zombie one that is set in a high school. It's also kind of set in the city a bit, you know. And it's fucking stupid, honestly. There's people do some really stupid shit in that show. That's all I can say. I've got one episode left. I'll finish it out. I went this far. I might as well just finish it all out. Yeah. Stanley says, but Rings of Power still could be decent. Not likely, but I won't prejudge too much. Um, yeah, I agree with you. 789. It's just it's a weird fucking show. It really is. I haven't started, what is it, Raising Dion season 2 yet either. And yes, I agree with you where it's everything, and the kids are really dumb. So it's a societal thing that's going on. I realize it's a different societal norm, and that's what they are, using in order to make their decisions. And I'm sitting there looking at it going, wow, that's kind of a really fucked up societal norm that you're, subservient to an upperclassman just because they're a year older than you are in a different grade than you. And yeah, it just, yeah, hey, we're in a life or death situation. Sure, I'll let you make your decision for my life on that. Fuck you. No, it's not going to happen. Yeah, and Peacemaker is decent. It's actually pretty decent. Stanley says zombie plus high school winning combination for me. Not, yeah. Well, it's not just about the high school, Stanley. It's not all set in the high school. Yeah. And then also they bring up these so they bring up storylines and then never follow through with them. Like the guy who invented the virus, the teacher who was a pharmacist before, he gets bitten and you see him change and he becomes, I don't know, it looks like he's sentient of who he is and all that kind of stuff. And you see him walking in slow motion and just kind of like straightening his tie and all this shit as a zombie. And that was back in episode like 4 or 5. No, episode 6. I take that back. Episode 6. There's 12 episodes, and yet they haven't touched on him since. And I'm like, what's going on? Are you going to go back to that? So, yeah. Imagine having a love triangle when they're a zombie. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is the whole teenage angst shit that's happening when zombies are trying to kill them. And I'm like, why? Why? Why are you doing the teenage angst shit while zombies are about? So yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Word 79. It's just it's stupid in some respects. Yeah. Well, they were trying to capitalize on the Squid Game thing, and I mean, Squid Game's a different animal altogether. Yeah, but oh, and oh, by the way, I'm trying to watch Raised by Wolves, and if you thought season 1 was just kind of wacky, season 2 is fucking balls out. What the fuck is going on? It really is just really shitty, really, really, really shitty writing. And I mean, whoever thought this planet was going to be, a great place to go and live, it has a fucking ocean of acid, oceans of acid. So, yeah, let's go and camp out by the oceans of acid. And my favorite thing is, okay, this acid is supposed to be so fucking corrosive that it can just dissolve a body in seconds. Yet this motherfucker is sitting outside on a cliff top, surrounded by acidic water, and it has spray. You have ocean spray going on, which is acidic spray, and yet nothing else is burning on his body. So speaking of science in your science fiction, there we go, right there. And then what the fuck is that rock made out of? I mean, yes, there are some rocks that can withstand some acid. It depends on what that acid is, but I mean, so I deal with a lot of labs that work with really caustic materials, hydrofluoric acid being one of them. So hydrofluoric acid, by the way, doesn't just, it doesn't burn you on your skin. What it does is it goes through your skin and goes for calcium deposits. Where are your calcium deposits? They're in the bones. So this shit will go to your bones and dissolve your bones within your hand or wherever it went to, without you knowing about it. And the only way to getting it out is to put calgonate is what it is. It's this stuff that you put on your skin in order to draw the shit out of your bloodstream and away from your bones to this cream that you're putting on your hands. That's the only way. And you can die from this shit just from, getting exposure on your hands. Yeah. Yes, we do have rock weathering here on Earth from acidic rain. Yes, I know that. But this acid, the way it burns, and dissolves a body so completely, I don't think those rocks are going to withstand it unless they're made out of some kind of, we also see the metal. The metal dissolves like almost instantaneously as well. So what the fuck is that rock made out of? Because if it has any calcium deposits in it whatsoever, or quartz or anything like that, it's gone. I'm sorry, that's the scientist portion of me that looks at this and go, "Did you do any fucking basic research on this motherfucker when you were writing it?" Yeah. Anyway, and that's just one part of it, but there's other stuff too that I'm just going, shaking my head, going, "Man, this show sucks." It reminds me the latest episode is up too, and I don't know if I want to watch it. Logic less rock. And this is true, Silver. This is very, very true. Stanley Ridley Scott isn't directing any of this anymore. He just produces it. That's all he's doing. The guy who created this series created it based on his love of Blade Runner 20 what was it 2049? Wasn't even the original Blade Runner. It was 2049. That was what he loved, and so he extrapolated from that and made this series Raised by Wolves. Yeah. So if that gives you an indication how shitty, so it's a second level of shittiness is what it is. Yeah. I haven't seen the Cuphead series as of yet, Word 789. I saw that it was up there and I was like, "Oh yeah, I need to take a look at that." I did watch Disenchanted Part 4 and meh. The series can end now and I don't really care. It's just really a failed Matt Groening project at this point and just needs to kind of go away. I mean, it had some interesting characters, but it doesn't do anything with them. And it's not funny. It really is like zero funny, which is yeah. Wait, you stopped watching Agents of Shield? I'm kidding, Stanley. I have to give you those zingers every now and then. But bum. I'll be here all week and tip your waitresses and have the veal. Yeah. um Although they did have the new season of Nailed It up, which so every now and then I got to balance out what my uh the shows that I'm watching for this, and also so most of the stuff that I watch for this anyway, I watch for fun. There is some stuff I watch because I kind of have to because people are going to be talking about it. And then I get to a point where if I can't take it anymore, then I'll stop watching it because hate watching is just not worth it. Um, But yeah, I haven't, there's other stuff that I watch too that's just mindless trash, like Nailed It, the woman who Nicole Byer, who is one of the hosts of the show, she has a stand-up that is on Netflix that I swear I haven't fucking laughed that hard in a long time. It's very self-depreciating humor, a lot of her stuff. And but it's really fucking funny. So if you're looking for something to watch and you want to have a really good laugh, Nicole Byers stand up that she does on Netflix is really worth it. Stanley says, "Wow, that one's getting old." Oh, you know what? You keep setting me up for it, Stanley. Come on. What do you want? I have to take it. It's right there. I need to spike it every time it's there. The Cuphead game is too difficult for me, and I'm old. You know what? I haven't played the Cuphead game. I really haven't. Word 79 says, "Stop watching stuff as soon as I lose interest. That zombie school show is one of them." Okay. Yeah, and if you're looking for something to laugh at, I mean, and the thing is, Nicole Byer doesn't do any of the insult shit that has been really popular lately among certain comedians. So, yeah. Yes, I have Ward 789. I posted it up, and yes, I have seen the Doctor Strange trailer. And no matter what people say, that's Shora. God, now I'm blanking on his name all of a sudden. So the big-eyed creature with the tentacles is not Gargantua or Gargantuan, whatever it is. It's actually Sharma Gorath is what it is. The only reason why they're calling it Gargantua is because the Robert E. Howard estate, which is Conan, they actually originated that creature, and Marvel cannot use the rights to that name, even though it looks exactly like Shimagoreth. That's all I'm gonna say on that. So Shumagorath, by the way, is a multi-dimensional creature that actually eats multiverses. There we go. Which makes sense for him being in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Yeah. Uh-oh. All right, hang on just 1 second, people. I need to go. I know this is kind of weird for me doing this in the middle of a podcast, but I got to go and take care of a little dog for a second. And I'm back. Oops. There we go. Just 1 second. There we go. Much better. All right. Nope, it wasn't a poop thing. It was a pee thing. She had to go out and pee. So, and of course, now that's not. Oh, there we go. That's the reason why. Okay. Let's try that again. There we go. Much better. Now I can actually hear myself. Sorry about that. So, that's a first on this one. Having to go run out there, and the dog had to pee. That's all it was. And the door was closed. So, um, yeah. Word 79 says, also seeing the boys diabolical trailer makes me want to watch it now. I'm down for a little boys anthology animations. Yeah, me too. No, I have not seen Uncharted. I'm not going to until it comes out on whatever streaming service it ends up on, which will most likely be HBO Max because I believe it's Warner Brothers, if I'm not mistaken, that's doing it. So, yeah, I'm just not interested in it. I'm really not. It's kind of, it looked boring, and also it's got Mark Wahlberg in it. Eh, no one really likes Mark Wahlberg. I'm yeah, I'm kind of over him. He can disappear. Him and Matt Damon. Matt Damon. I watched that. I think I've said it here. I watched that really shitty movie, The Duel, The Last Duel, and my god, what a pile of shit that movie was. I mean, that movie was the worst piece of shit I've ever seen. Um, yeah, I want to say it's one of the Ridley Scott's worst movies. Quite honestly, it is Ridley Scott's worst movie. And talk about being just fucking tone deaf. I mean, completely tone deaf. I know Damon and Affleck working on the script too. And I mean, these are both men that have been rapist accused adjacent, both of them for different people. And for them to have written this script, yes, it is from a historical account, but then to star in it as well. Um, Yeah, I mean, it is so fucking tone deaf. Yeah, it's unimaginable, quite honestly. How Adam Driver ended up in this, I don't understand. I mean, he's usually pretty conscious of the movies that he's in. Well, other than you know, the Star Wars movies. Uh, yeah. What is next for the Disney Plus shows again? It's gonna be Moon Knight. Moon Knight is the next one. So if you go over to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule. There's a section underneath the schedule that says future stuff, and it has everything in chronological order, except for one thing. One thing was the Obi-Wan series, which is at the end of May. Thought it was at the beginning of May. So I have that sitting before Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, Moon Knight comes out March 30th, if I remember correctly. I think it's March 30th. Well, you know what? Let's go take a look over at suspendedfanimation.com and I can tell you. And it never fails. I open the door for the damn dog and she does not go outside, being the asshole that she is. Um, so yes, Moon Knight is March 30th. That is the next thing. So what we've got coming up here. So Fistful of Vengeance came out this weekend on Netflix. That is a sequel to Wu Assassins. So yeah, we got that. The King's Man, of course, came out on Hulu and HBO Max. Season 2 of Picard is coming out on March 3rd. The Boys Diabolical is coming out March 4th. Also, The Batman comes out on March 4th. I'll probably see that in the theater. I most likely will. The Orville New Horizons comes out March 10th on Hulu. I believe that's the last season of the Orville. So I'm sure there's going to be a toilet joke in there at some point in that season. Upload season 2 is going to come out on Amazon on March 11th. Moon Knight March 30th. Doctor Strange May 6th. Obi-Wan Kenobi May 25th. And oh, I have the Orville New Horizons in here twice for some reason. Oh, you know why? It actually got moved to June 2nd. That's what it was. I need to take out the March 10th one. Yeah. And The Boys season 3 comes out on June 3rd. And then of course the Lord of the Rings comes out on September 2nd. There you go. Yeah, May is for Obi-Wan. Is that what there is gonna be so Word 789, there's this little thing called May the 4th, and there's a huge Disney convention that happens at that time. So there is that's usually when they produce stuff and they premiere things, that kind of thing. So that's when you're going to get your trailer. We're probably going to teaser right beforehand, but your actual trailer is not going to come out till May 4th. There's already enough people, wanting this movie to come out, and supposedly the rumor is that the whole story revolves around a 10-year-old Leia, and she ends up kidnapped, I think it is, in some cantina, and she needs to be rescued. There you go. Oh, Picard with the no trailers. Yeah. Well, Picard did have a trailer that came out, and it was so shitty that no one remembers it. That's the whole thing. Yeah. So there is a trailer for Picard out there, and Q's involved and all that kind of stuff. It just looked really shitty. So, yeah. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the rest of the day. Thank you to everybody who joined me today in the chat. And Obi-Wan's a TV show. It's a TV series, Word 789. It's a limited series, what they say. So 6 episodes, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So I'm going to let you guys go for the night, for the day. Thank you to everyone who joined me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library, and pops up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media on there and all the links to my pages as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. What else do I have going on the rest of this week? Tomorrow I'm off. It's President's Day here in the United States. That's when Abraham Lincoln and George Washington came together in a beautiful union and made a baby that is just known as President's Day. And we all celebrate that. So Tuesday is going to be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? I don't know what I'm going to do as of yet. I might do The King's Man. I know it's genre for the most part because it is kind of sci-fi-ish, but I might do that. I don't know as of yet. Wednesday I'll be off. Thursday will be Resident Alien. I'm going to move that over to Thursdays. Friday I'll be off, and then I think I'm going to be off on Saturday as well. And then I think I'm moving. I believe I'm going to be moving Sunday morning blast off to Sunday, or Saturday morning blast off to Sundays for right now. And do it that way. Stanley says, and a guy in a fantasy show that sings all the time is a bard. When did I say otherwise? Are you talking about when I was talking about Vox Machina? He's not a bard though. He's just a gnome. Yeah. Yeah, King's Man was okay. It just wasn't. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go for the rest of the weekend. Have a good rest of your weekend, and well, we're gonna agree to disagree on that one, Stanley. There, it's settled. Thanks, everyone. I will see you again on Tuesday. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may get into a nonsensical discussion of what a bard is and what isn't a bard. Because, those are the kind of things we nerds discuss and argue about. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Tuesday. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care. Wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, get those booster shots as well. Yes, it does help. And the flu shot. I mean, come on, man. It's not that difficult. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Tuesday. Have a good rest of your weekend. Stay safe out there and have fun as well. Get out into the sunshine if you have sunshine where you're at. It's supposed to be fucking cold here the next week. So I'm not going to have any sunshine here. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you later and see you Tuesday.